This is a video review of the Legacy Megazord, which is a die-cast version of the Power Rangers 2010 Megazord, which is basically this thing. I have the others off to the side, and I'll be comparing them to the Legacy versions. And the Power Rangers 2010 Megazord was a remake of the original Dino Megazord. The difference is that it used Zord Builder ports, and it was apparently cheaper to make. It was all plastic, by the way, which is why this set here is special, because this one has metal in it. And it's not entirely accurate to say that this is just a metal version, because basically what happened is that the 2010 version was not ever designed to have die-cast in it, so the joints were not designed to hold die-cast metal. So what happened is that some of the joints on the Legacy version have been remade, and I'll point those out as we get to them. Now, looking at the actual set here, first, let's look at the sword. It's this nice, it's not die-cast, but it's a solid plastic, and it's nice in chrome, which is different than the dull blade bendy plastic we got with the 2010 Megazord, which is nice that we got such a nice sword this time around. It would have been nice if it were die-cast, but I get why it wasn't, because it would be very heavy and very stabby if it were die-cast. So those are the swords. I'll put them off to the side. Next, let's look at the Triceratops. For the most part, they're the same, although you can see some of the stickers are a little bit different. Like this one is very metallic and this one is very flat. The big difference, again, is the die-cast back here. But you'll notice that on this, it's just a straight hinge that goes down like that. On the Legacy version, it actually has a little plastic tab there that allows it to ratchet, which is important because if this were just a hinge, it could not hold the weight of the die-cast. So anyway, we'll be putting this into the, basically the Megazord tank configuration right now, so we'll do that to both of these. I'll set this down. Next is a saber-toothed tiger, and again, for the most part, they are the same, although the stickers are much more metallic on the Legacy version, and they have the same kind of thing here where this is just a hinge tail, but this tail right here has a ratchet on it. But otherwise, they're basically the same, and we'll be putting them into, again, the tank form, so put the leg sword like that and fold these ones under. Do the same to this one. Next we have the pterodactyl, and the pterodactyl is basically the same on both of them. The only difference is they have different stickers and different paint. To get these ready for the tank mode, just take off these little gun things here, and that's about it. So take these off, and I hope I don't mix them up. Now, there is a little bit of a difference between the gray plastics. The Legacy version is a little bit darker and a little bit more shiny, whereas this is a much more flat plastic. It's barely a visible difference, but it is there if you are looking. So we have those three ready. Next, we want to look at the Mastodon, and this is where the big differences really start coming, because you can see the Legacy Mastodon. I'll switch them around. The Legacy Mastodon's head is actually gray, not black. I'm not entirely sure why they did that. It doesn't look bad, but it's just kind of strange. Now, most of the metal in the Legacy Mastodon is in the what will become the biceps, and is in the just main body of the Mastodon in there. Now, to get these ready for the tank mode, you will take the what will be the elephant shield. You'll pop the handle out like that on both of them. And then you will take the body here, you'll pull these up, you'll pull these out, and you don't want to bring them out to the fist area, you want to leave this out like this. And then you want to spread these out. And then what you will do is you will take the little gun things from the pterodactyl and plug them into the feet there. They will form the kind of guns of the tank mode. So we have that ready there. We'll do the same thing to the 2010 version. So basically just fold it out like that and fold it flat. Take these little guns and plug them on. And there we go. The final things we need to look at are the Tyrannosaurus Rexes. And here's where the most differences happen, because the entire legs here, or the thighs here on the Legacy version, are die-cast. What that means is that the hinges and the knees have to be entirely different, because the way they work on this one is that these legs ratchet against this side right here. Now, that can't happen on this, because if plastic grinds against metal, the plastic just grinds away. There isn't a lasting joint if you do that. So what happened is that the paw is resting against the metal in here, and it presses against, and it ratchets against the leg in here. Whereas it's the exact opposite here. The paw rests against the lower leg here, and then ratchets against the side of the leg. So that's the big difference between these two as far as the mold. And I know this because I ended up taking these apart, because one thing that was unfortunate to happen was that when this was all assembled, it was kind of floppy, and I had to take it open and try and figure out how to make it unfloppy, which is actually very easy, actually, and I'll do a video showing how I did it. I'll be demonstrating on this guy, because I don't care if this guy gets damaged now that I have this guy. Now, anyway, to finish the preparation for putting these guys together in the tank mode, what you'll do is you'll fold up the arms, fold these out, and that should be about, I think you bend the tail like this. So bend these up, bend these up, bend these up. Now it's time to start assembling things. So we'll take the saber-toothed tiger, plug it in, fold the foot down like that. There we have the base of the tank. Then we take the elephant head, you put it in like that. Then you take these and plug them onto the back like this. Bring them down, bring the arms forward like this. And then you take the pterodactyl and you kind of slide it into the back between the feet. It's not a very intuitive joint. You just have to do it until it kind of stays. And this is the Legacy tank here. Now I'll put together the 2010 tank. Very exactly the same, actually. So pop that down, plug this on, plug this on, plug this on, plug on the back here. Put together anything that fell apart. And then take the pterodactyl and put it onto the back. And here we have the two tanks, and they are basically the same. The big difference is just that this one right here looks a bit better because the paint is a bit better, and it's a lot heavier, but otherwise they are exactly the same in this mode. Now, transform them into the actual Megazords. It's pretty simple. You'll take these off here and here. You'll take off the elephant shield things like this. Then you'll take off the pterodactyls, and you're basically ready to start transforming at this point. You'll fold in the arms like this, and like this. You'll fold these back, fold these forward, bring the legs down like this. You have to make sure the tail is up like this, and they'll snap into the back right there. Bring the arms down like this. Then you open the chest plate here. You bring the head down like this into the cavity. Then you take the pterodactyl, you fold the head back, fold the wings over, and then you snap it into the chest like this, and then you open the horns, and there you go. Let me do it to the other one really quick. And then there are a couple little niggling steps you need to do, like take these little feet things from a pterodactyl and plug them onto the back like this. But otherwise, they are done. And I gotta say, while I love both of them, the Legacy Megazord blows away the 2010 Megazord. It just looks so much shinier and so much nicer. That actually has diecast, makes it feel like a real toy from the 90s, whereas this feels more like, not like a knockoff, but like a copy, which is exactly what it is. But this feels like what the original Megazord or Daizyujin would have been like if it were made with modern technology, which it was, but rather if like a Bandai of Japan had made it with modern technology. Like if the next Sentai series were exactly this is like what we would get. And that's what I really like about the Legacy version, and it is really nice. It is one of the best things Bandai of America has made in a really long time. Now, for accessories, you do get these little shields right here, the elephant shields or Mastodon shields. They go into the hands like this, if you want. Or what you can do, and this is actually one thing where the 2010 Megazord is better. As you can see, I carved a little hole right here in the forearm plastic, and what that allows me to do is put the shield in like this, and bring all the way up, and put it on as armor on the side of the arm like this, even though it droops a little bit, instead of just having him hold it straight in front of him like this, which I think looks a little bit awkward, because it means he doesn't have his arms, and this is a pathetic shield. Now you can do kind of a similar thing on the Legacy version, but because it's diecast, you'll never be able to cut out that section right there, which is unfortunate, although the diecast more than makes up for it. And you can do something kind of like that, where you plug it into the arm like this, bring the arm up, and then just kind of wedged in like that. And the reason why I'm okay with this is that this right here on this arm droops already a little bit, and it droops because the joint isn't quite tight enough to carry that weight exactly where it is. It's not the best designed joint here, but right here, because you can't put it together like that anyway, it still looks kind of the same. It kind of balances out, that you get the die cast and it doesn't look too much worse than on the 2010 version for what the 2010 version can do. And considering that most people wouldn't want to cut apart their toys anyway, I'm a little bit special that way, it should be a non-issue for most people. Now, the last things we have to look at are the swords. You just put the swords in the hands, and this is actually one thing where the Legacy version is kind of problematic, which is the sword is chromed. It's not actually die-cast. So if you can see right here, if the camera will focus, the paint right, or the chrome right here has scraped off of the handle right here. It hasn't scraped off of any other part of the handle, but it has scraped off there. And that's not a huge deal because you'll never see that part of the chrome when you're just messing with the toy right here like this. But it does mean that there is a way for the rest of the chrome to come off. Like the seal on the chrome around the sword has been broken. You could scratch it off from there all the way up to the edge of the sword. So that is a little bit unfortunate, and there really isn't anything you can do to protect against that. You could try sealing it with future floors or something like that, but that's going to scrape off just the same way. It's because what they should have done is that the handle of the sword, they should have made it a little bit smaller so that when the chrome was added onto it, it would make it exactly as thick as it needed to be. Now, I don't know if that's actually a reliable process they can do, but it would at least be preferable to what's happened here where the chrome has scraped off the sword. So anyway, this has been a video review of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Legacy Megazord compared with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 2010 Megazord. They're both great, but if you've got to have one, considering that in the aftermarket the 2010 Megazord is going to be quite expensive, I much more recommend the Legacy Megazord. Not just because it's amazing, but because for the price difference, which is not going to be as much as you might think because of the aftermarket, this is the superior deal. Now, I will be getting the Dinozord sometime soon. That's the reason why I got this in the first place. So when I get the Dinozord, I'll be showing how it works with the 2010 Megazord and the Legacy Megazord. Because I have a sneaking suspicion, because even though this does work very well, it does not wobble as much as the 2010 version does, which is surprising because this one actually does have die-cast in it that you would think would make it less stable, because the plastic joints were never, like the connections between the legs right here and here, were never meant to carry die-cast. Basically, I have a sneaking suspicion that the Dinozord is going to work better with the 2010 Megazord, because this one has less die-cast weight down. This one, on occasion, will lean forward and bend like that. It's not a big deal, and it only happens if you hold it exactly wrong, but you never get that with the 2010 Megazord. So I have a feeling that the extra weight to the die-cast on this will work against it when it has to carry the Dinozord on top of it. So when I get a Dragon Sword, I'll explore that, but that's my seeking suspicion right now. Anyway, this has been a video review of the Legacy Megazord. I hope you've enjoyed it. I review Power Rangers, Transformers, Digimon, Tobots, lots of stuff like that. If any of that sounds interesting, please subscribe. I've got some links in the video description down below, a Facebook link and some playlists. Check them out, and thank you for watching.